I'm the founder, CEO, and editor-in-chief of the Indian Television.com group. Cricket, it's the most fascinating piece of content which comes on television. It grabs eyeballs like no other property can. So I'm really delighted that there's been so much of cricket on television, and yet the viewers keep coming. We have the Asia Cup going on. We have the World Cup coming up. So, it's wonderful to talk to certain people who've been associated with the properties which have been coming on different platforms. This time it's about the Asia Cup and World Cup, and I'm very happy to have Bimal Jha with me, who's the head of Jindal Steel and Power. Wonderful to have you here. How are you this morning, Bimal?
Very fine.
So, what made you all want to associate with cricket?
Well, there are two religions in India, cricket and Bollywood.
Okay.
And if you really look at it, somebody had the brilliant insight to combine the two in the form of IPL. And IPL has become the greatest sensation because of this unique combination that works so well in India. And I think getting associated with this large number of viewership, where particularly any brand that gets associated with sports always gets more positive vibes compared to anything else. That is what the research says. And missing action in this one is not a great thing for any brand that wants to really establish itself at the national level.
So you had national ambitions when you wanted to. When was the first time you associated with cricket? That was about 2 years ago, or was it last year itself?
No, it was last year, and we started getting associated with many other sports also. We have been supporting sports at tribal level. Wushu, many people would not have even heard about it. And we produce international champions out of that from the tribal boys and girls. We are into kickboxing, we are into hockey, and we are supporting a lot of sports, including kabaddi. So we have been associated with different sports. And I do believe that when you are trying to become number one brand, at that time, having higher visibility, particularly through the sports channels, is a great way to connect with the audiences.
Yeah, but you're looking at a B2B connect. You're not looking at a consumer connect. So, because you're looking at construction developers using TMT bars with Jindal Panther. So, why use a mass medium? Why not go for trade and trade advertising?
Okay, actually, that's a very interesting question, and Bimal and I have had this discussion since last year. So, as Bimal just very rightly mentioned, this whole association with sports began last year with the Pro Kabaddi League, the PKL, moved on to the ISL, the Women's World Cup, and of course IPL, and now Asia Cup and the World Cup. So, if you look at the essence of the brand, and like you said, Jindal Panther, the brand name itself evokes a certain personality. I'm sure we all understand brand personality, right? So when you have a brand which is a very strong brand personality, you have to find the right kind of fit in terms of the media opportunities too. Sports, interestingly, is a perfect brand fit because it talks about speed, it talks about strength, and flexibility, exactly what the brand stands for. Am I right, Bimal?
Yeah, absolutely. And Anil, to answer your question that why approach mass media communication for what could potentially be only a B2B brand. But India is a very unique place. You would not imagine rebars being retailed in any other country like India. And if you really go across the country, you would find retail outlets for rebars. You would find retail outlets for cement. Now, these retail outlets are the ones which are catering to really, really small demand. And a large proportion of steel through the rebar route and cement gets consumed in retail. So, creating these footfalls is a very important element of strategy, particularly if you want stability in your supply chain. Retail provides the highest amount of stability compared to B2B sales. In fact, B2B sales may have large variation in prices. Retail gives far more consistency in prices. So anybody who wants to really sell his rebar well would do well to consider the retail segment in their strategy.
Okay,
One more thing, Anil, one very important thing. If you look at the pyramid of the rebar business, right on top are the B2B businesses. So big builders, big developers like your DLFs and the M3Ms and the Hejaz, etc. So you buy a flat, you don't know what rebar and what cement has gone into it. But when you come down the pop strata and you go into smaller towns, that's where people like, where I came from Allahabad, we all made our own homes. And those are the small towns where a lot of construction is happening, either making your own shop or your own factory or your own home. And that is where a brand connect with B2C is also as important as it is for B2B.
I understand. So retail is what is it constituting of your entire sales? Is it about 40%, 30%?
So at the moment, it has been a lower percentage.
Okay.
It is pure retail has been about 25%, but we want to take it to 75%.
Excellent. Okay. So now coming down to the cricket questions, in terms of it's coming back, the World Cup is coming back now, and you're also associated with the Asia Cup. So cricket viewership gives you like the kind of viewership nobody else can give you. Normally, people do geographical targeting of their distribution. You already have a massive national distribution network. So what does it mean for an advertiser when you have such a large property which gets you 520 million viewers like the IPL did? What does it mean to you?
I think you have to be smart about the money that you spend. If you take a titled sponsorship, it has a completely different connotation, it has completely different viewership, and it allows the viewers to soak in with this kind of a titled sponsorship. So we have been smart about what we are wanting to do, and we do not want to burn the money and use it in a manner where it does not give us the proportionate returns. So we have done our own evaluation, and we have actually cherry-picked some of the events that allow us to get more mile for our buck.
May I just add one thing over here, Anil? What Bimal just now said is very important. You will have very large investors in cricket. We heard about the story about Dream 11 and all these various .coms and the gaming apps.
Yeah. That phase is over where investment.
Yes, I know, but then there were large sums of money being thrown into cricket like that. Today, of course, Levers is coming back. But what we need to do, the word which is very important is smart and making sure that we stand out of the clutter. In a whole one-day match or in a T20 match, there will be hundreds of spots. Yes, you're one of those 10 times in a day, but you are one of those hundreds of spots. What the choice which Jindal made and what we all worked together to create that, Jindal Panther Cricket Live, made it stand apart. It actually had a unique spot, a unique position in the entire broadcast ecology, and therefore we got that stand apart to the extent that literally within the first 3 or 4 days, I remember we were having a discussion with our trade partners, and the word they used was Jindal Panther Chha Gaya.
Now, there's a lot of collecting viewing happening, wherein they are having these public places of viewing. So, and how does this help in getting the word out to your viewers, to your targeted audience even better? Because you have these parks where they showcase cricket, so collecting viewing experience. How does that help the brand?
There are multiple ways. First of all, being visible, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So visibility is not in short supply as far as Jindal Panther Cricket Live is concerned. It gets a mention every now and then. It is so multiple mentions, and it is constantly there in front of your eyes as you are watching that program pre-match, mid-match, and post-match. Much more than that, what we have also done, and that is where Navroz has helped us a lot in creating some crucibles of experience, where we have taken our channel partners to the studio to get them to experience it, and they can't get over themselves about these kind of experiences. And this is what, by word of mouth, further spreads into the channel. Now people look forward to the opportunity of being selected to be able to get into that exclusive group of people who would be chosen for these kind of relationship building exercises. I think this is invaluable. Money can't buy.
Yeah, that's great. But I'm also talking about those public parks where they have this viewing happening. So even that, it also works in that area where you take your channel partners.
Why not?
Along the way, we've realized that viewing of sport happens in three different ways. One is very individualistic. One is very individualistic when you're on your mobile and you're just watching it one-on-one. One is in a family environment where you're at home and you're watching with 3 or 4 or 5 people. And one is on a much larger scale. It could be in a bar or a pub where you've got 300, 400 people watching it together, or a larger place where they put up a huge screen and you've got 500 to 1,000 people watching it together. In all these cases, interestingly, from that small 4-inch mobile to that 100-foot screen, when the brand is being visible right across, the best part is you're not missing out on any target group. You're not missing out on any opportunity. And the large size screen with those big speakers and that entire, it almost transforms the person sitting over there into a stadium kind of an environment, which actually helps and has a halo effect and a rub off on the brand. So many things are very intangible, but they have their own magic which they create for the brand.
Okay, so, but the shared experience that people have, does it enhance it or does it?
Yes, it does. It does.
Because
okay, one more very important thing I want to tell you, which I think Vimal will agree with me, because being an engineer who loves data and information, we as Indians, as the only country in the whole world, I don't know whether you know this brand called Wisdom, right? Wisdom, the Bible of cricket. Now, Wisdom is almost 150-year-old brand, and they were collecting data all this time. But it was just one book published every year. It's only in India that from the year 2002 onwards, the last 20 years, we were the pioneers of something called the pre, the mid, and the post show, which is what Jindal Panther Cricket Live is all about. Do you know the interesting insight about this? We as Indians love statistics. We love records. We love discussing and debating. Isne acha kiya, isne acha nahi kiya. Oh, this was a strike rate. Oh, it was actually a very good bowling attack. But so we love statistics, and that is why the eyeballs are sticky eyeballs, even for non-live. In most other countries, the moment the game is over, telecast is over. But in our country, the game carries on for almost half an hour, 45 minutes. हम वो बाल की खाल निकालते रहते हैं, of every batsman and bowler. So that is where the magic of the Indian madness for statistics lies.
Stop. Coming back again to another question on Cricket Live, how did the association really help you all in terms of getting your customers to really buy in further into the product? And what has the change been in terms of getting the objectives you had set when you associate with cricket and Cricket Live?
See, one of the constant themes of all our interaction with our retail channel partners has been that we are not visible adequately. That was pre Jindal Panther Cricket Live. And if one big difference that has already happened is that our channel partners are absolutely cheering this entire sponsorship, because they have seen that now people ask for Jindal Panther by name. There is still a bit of a brand association of Jindal that rubs off on some spurious other brands who try to claim same kind of a stature as a result. So that's a good problem to have, because imitation is a form of flattery. And of course, we can use the same channel to also communicate to the people to be careful about not getting duped by look-alike brands. So that's the advantage. So there is a lot more that can be achieved compared to what we have achieved. We have occupied the top of the mind slot. The next is to also educate people on being careful about what they choose.
Okay, and how important is to be consistent in your associations with cricket, or with so that you have you have an impact on a national scale like you wanted? How important?
I said earlier, cricket is a religion in India, and it is likely to remain a religion in India. But there are more sports that are coming up in India, and I think the time has come when there is adequate support to the sportsmen. And we would like to continue our association with sports, not just for cricket, but also for other sports which do not sometimes get that kind of money, visibility, etc. And we are very happy to see that, for example, Kabaddi, Premier Kabaddi League, after IPL, has got the maximum amount of eyeballs. And we felt that getting associated with Kabaddi, which is a quintessential sports invented in India, and once again, the speed, strength, flexibility are the values that are very core to the sport of Kabaddi. They are there. We also find that there is interest in some pockets, particularly West Bengal and Kerala, around football more than anywhere else. But increasingly, it is finding an expression and a viewership, as well as coming into the collective consciousness, both soccer as well as hockey. And these are the sports which are coming up, and we would like to definitely remain associated with them as well. So it is not just cricket.
I understand. So now the meet and greet that you had for as part of your Cricket Live partnership that you had, how did that help your partners? What did it help? What changes did it bring in as far as they were concerned in your relationship with them?
The very first thing is that the partners feel valued when you bring them to event where it is meet and greet, but it is not just meet and greet with the company officials. They idolize these heroes from the cricket world, the commentators. There are, and the whole experience actually takes them to another platform. They start associating with the company far greater positive image and about themselves as well, because they are visible on TV. This is their moment when they are visible to a larger audience. And it also helps those who have not been selected, let's say in the first round, to be a bit aspirational about the achievements that they should have, so that they are considered for the next round. So it's a win-win-win for everybody. It is, I think, an association that has helped us build the brand, the channel relationships, and create a positive mindset amongst those who want to be there.
Okay, what about the upcoming World Cup and the Asia Cup, which is going on now? So what are your expectations out of that? Are you expecting new milestones? And are you plowing in more money, or is it again, as you said, judicious spend of money?
Well, we would always prefer judicious spend of money over anything else. It is a value for money that we evaluate in each and every case, and we are very conscious of the fact that things like India-Pakistan match, they get the top ratings compared to anything else, and both Asia Cup and World Cup does create multiple opportunities for this kind of an interaction to take place. How can you be missing in action on those? So of course we see value for money, but we also want to bring to the people the whole excitement in a manner that they associate themselves with the brand, and it is that positive association that we are looking forward to.
And Cricket Live is adapting further going forward in the World Cup as well as in the Asia Cup, or is it going to be the same? Will you have more interaction? Will you have more brand appearances on the show? How are you going to differentiate it this time?
Anything that does not change becomes stale.
Sure.
And innovation requires us to constantly change and make things more and more interesting, from viewership perspective as well as those who we put forward for participation. So we would of course be looking for more and more innovation through this platform that we have created for ourselves. You mentioned about some final things that I may want to say, and it is important to realize that one is that sports is a way of life, and our chairman himself is a sports lover. He is not just a sports lover, he actually excels at doing things. For example, in shooting or in polo, he plays at national levels, and therefore It is a way of life that we have adopted for the company. There is a lot of focus on fitness, etc. As far as sponsorship is concerned, on mass media, apart from mass media, the very powerful medium is that of digital. And we are still far away from an iconic brand like Amul, where they get quoted so many times, Moon Meetha Karo, for launch and dinner. How do they come up with such brilliant lines which can be seen in less than 5 seconds and can be replicated? So there is a lot more that we have to do as a brand. But sports is a good start. However, building on it with the power of such catchy phrases and things that we can connect with the audience and remain contemporary, that remains our challenge, and we would like to work in that and continue to make the world a better place to live with the quality of products and services we give.
Thank you very much.